Hey, everybody. We are back with a video to answer one of the great questions that came to us from our newsletter supporters and readers. And the question we're going to answer today is about meetings because our newsletter series was about meetings. I am Sarah Koegler. I'm here with my wonderful colleagues, Tanisi Pooran and Alastair Steward. We are all transformation partners at the Ready and are excited to spend a little time with this smart question. So, why don't I go ahead and read it? The question we're going to answer today is this one. How do you assess which moves to make first with a new client who wants better and more effective meetings? So, Tanisi and Alistair, do you want to get us started?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing, the first place my mind goes is, what are the underlying what we would call tension? So gaps, dynamics that aren't working, pain points, or even kind of unrealized opportunities that lead the client to specifically want more effective meetings. It can, meetings are very visible and tangible. They can be the cause of issues and challenges. They can also be sort of a very visible symptom of other underlying systemic challenges. And so for me, the first thing is to think about what's kind of going on here and what might other areas for experimentation or intervention be helpful, either in addition to or maybe even instead of meetings, kind of depending on what's going on.
To build on that, you can also start pretty small. Like Alistair said, there can be tensions caused within your meetings. You might notice that people are talking over each other a lot, and you could make a small tweak to how you speak and how you share a voice in meetings by doing something like using rounds. Your tensions might be caused from a meeting that's not as well designed as you'd like it to be, but you're noticing it in other areas, maybe in how you meet deadlines or how you team. So look for small opportunities to make changes and notice how that affects your meetings and the way you gather and do work together.
Yeah, that's such a good point, Nisi. And that makes me think, assuming that we sort of with the client land on meetings as a place to start, it can be really helpful to take sort of a experimental approach and a safe to try approach. Meaning, what are some meeting based experiments that have specific, often relatively small and unobtrusive changes to how meetings happen. And what are our hypotheses about what impact that'll have on the client, on the meetings, and on the tensions, and then check to see if those are safe to try for meeting participants. So the client can get into trying new things and learning kind of in the real world from making changes.
These are all really smart ideas, and especially given the fact that the question was about where might you start. One other thing I want to say, Alistair and Tanisi, to build on some of the things that you're talking about is we can make some individual small moves like the one we're talking about here to make individual meetings better. And they really can help you get sometimes from like just awful to feeling pretty good. But at some point, teams really need to understand um, their meetings and how they fit in the broader rhythm of meetings. So two patterns that I've seen are even meetings that feel good and seem well facilitated and well run. Sometimes the actual design of that meeting is just not fit for purpose for what the team is trying to do. So the team running a real sort of tasky update meeting, even if they're speaking in rounds and using check-ins and using visual tracker, is actually what they need to be doing is making big strategic decisions. That design is just not fit for what they're trying to do. So at some point with our clients, we also help them look more broadly at their overall rhythm, the operating rhythm. What's the collection of meetings that you need to actually move your strategy forward? And how should each meeting be designed to meet its specific purpose?
Why don't we share a couple of our favorite moves to make meetings a little bit better? Sarah, you want to kick us off?
Shocker. This will be no surprise to anybody. But I really do believe in the power of the check in round. Add a check in round to open up your meetings, to bring everybody's voice into the room, help people stop multitasking from the last thing that they were doing, and really get present for the meeting they're about to engage in.
I would suggest folks, and this is one we use all the time in our teams at the Ready, and I use with the majority of my clients as well, is having some kind of visual board or document. And you can usually find that if you use Teams or Notion or lots of different tools have some kind of board or document set up where you can track the flow of your meeting and content of the meeting. You can make that readily available for attendees of the meeting. And if it's safe to share, you can share it with the broader team as well. So everyone can easily find information without actually having to attend the meeting or look through piles of notes.
I think for me, it's something that might seem obvious, but is really often overlooked, which is just get clear on the purpose of the meeting. What is the meeting for? What do you want it to do for you? What do you want to be different at the end of it? And design it with that in mind, and keep folks focused on that. Most meetings don't have a purpose, and that's one of the ways they can end up sort of so unfocused and meandering.
There's so many opportunities to make small but impactful shifts in and around meetings. So we appreciate you asking this question. And if you try anything that we talked about today, or you experiment it with your meeting in different ways and you want to share that, we'd always love to hear from you. And we look forward to more great questions.